I sold my first cinema camera, the Zcam E2 M4. Yeah, that's a mouthful. If you haven't watched that video about why I made that decision to sell that camera, I'll link it somewhere up here in this video so you can check that out. I'll tell you a little bit about what I was looking for in a new camera since I sold that one. I really wanted something that wouldn't overheat. The Zcam was a metal body, technically fit that description. I also wanted something with XLR ports on the body, or XLR ports somewhere on it. Zcam didn't really have that. It had a 3.5mm jack, and I really wanted better audio preamps than what it could provide. I also wanted something with internal ND filters. I feel like that's just should be, a standard for a cinema camera. It just makes everything so convenient and really reduces the chances of a lot of the negative artifacts that may come with other variable ND filters. I didn't want a camera that had a lot of rigging or extra parts that were required. I wanted something I could pull out of a box and pretty much get going. That cancels out a lot of the Komodos, the Canon Infinities, the Zcam, stuff like that. I really wanted something more grab and go that didn't require a lot of twisting and screwing. I just wasn't a fan of that, always having to tweak different parts of the camera to make them stay in place. That just wasn't my favorite thing to do. And I really wanted something with 2 camera card slots, not necessarily for redundancy, but just for capacity. Just really being able to go all day, especially in the documentary film space. That's really what I needed personally. And last but not least, I wanted something that could shoot in 4K, 10-bit, 422 codec. I have it on my Fuji, I have it on my Leica, and I think once you get used to shooting in that codec, you really don't want to go to anything else. And for that reason, I ended up going with the camera that I'm filming with right now, which is the Canon C300 Mark II. This is an 8-year-old camera. It's probably not the top of a lot of people's lists, but for what I was looking for and for what I need, it was perfect for me. Yes, I'm just gonna address the elephant in the room. It does not have 4K 60, but for my purposes, I didn't really need it. Having a really good 10-bit 1080p 60 codec was really awesome, and they even have a 12-bit 1080p 60 frames per second codec. The quality that I get out of this camera, the consistency that I get out of this camera, I mean, it's just an absolute workhorse, and it checks the boxes for everything else that I need. And especially since I shoot like 90% of my stuff in 4K 24 frames per second, it was all that I needed. It also just had a lot of other little gems that I really like about it. I'm gonna do a camera walkthrough in a second, but 2 of the things that I really love that I discovered after using this camera is I really love having the light up buttons when you're shooting in darker environments. Being able to have a little backlight on the buttons so you can see everything is awesome. I loved the ability to have 2 XLR ports and control my audio levels and inputs at a higher level. That is just amazing for getting audio quality straight out of the gate as best you can get it from the camera. Love that. I did splurge a little bit with the monitor. I did get an additional touch monitor. I got it from Adorama Open Box. Shout out Adorama. It has just made filming with this so much more fun, getting that with the eye level that I need in the way that the stock monitor could not. But it uses the same cable, so it's awesome. No muss, no fuss, super awesome, easy to use. Both monitors that you can use with the C300 Mark II natively have a mirror feature. Right now, I can turn the monitor upside down, hit the mirror feature, and I can see myself accurately. That's also great when I'm framing shots, when I'm setting up an interview for someone else on a documentary project. It's the small things that just really help make this super functional. And having multiple ways to press record, depending on how I'm holding the camera, was also a really big plus. I'm talking a lot about the pluses here. Do I have any negative? Not really. I mean, nothing that I have found to be like nitpicky about. Occasionally, and this is just like the dumbest nitpick, but occasionally I find that the higher native ISO, which is 2500, may not be enough. Rarely, I think sometimes when I have formatted a card on my computer and I have to format it in my camera, that takes an extra 2 seconds. I don't have a lot of complaints. I don't need the latest and greatest CFast cards. They're ridiculously expensive for what they are, considering they're an older media format, and CF Express Type B for like the same amount of storage is much less. So yeah, that kind of sucks. You would think it would be the reverse since CF Express Type B is the newer form of media, but that's like a small gripe, I think. It's not that big a deal. I had the media, obviously. It's not that bad. It's just not that great. Those are my small gripes. The only two things that I added here, which were the audio. They're both Sennheiser. I have the Sennheiser MK600 as my shotgun mic with a right angled XLR cable. It comes with its own XLR cable, but it's an XLR to 3.5mm jack, which I don't use on this. And then I have the Sennheiser AVX Lav system that I'm using to record my audio right now, and that I use as a second audio when I'm doing interviews or running gun style stuff. So being able to have two options for audio in addition to the scratch audio that go to channels 3 and 4 is incredible. I'm really pleased with the Sennheiser quality that I've gotten so far. So Sennheiser, if you want to get at me, let me know. Love your stuff. And on the lens, I'm also using the Cinebloom 10% from Moment. I use that on my 16-35 and 24mm f1.4 and 70-200. They all fit a 77mm size thread. And then I also have the Cinebloom circular polarizer for my 50mm f1.2. That's been super helpful, especially when I'm looking through a window or glass, like looking through a car, or even just in bright scenarios. I think it helps even out the color balance in the frame with the 50mm, especially because of that f1.2 aperture being its highest. So yeah, I'm happy. Those are my 4 lenses. That's pretty much what I use primarily with this. I had EF glass before I got this, so I was really happy that I could use that. That was also a plus, not having to have an adapter like I had to with the Z-Cam E2 and 4, super long name. Will I stick with Canon for cinema cameras? Obviously, I have no brand loyalty. As I mentioned, I have a Fuji and a Leica SL2S, so I just go with what works, honestly. I've really been loving the footage that comes out of this. I'm shooting this in C-Log 2 Cinema Gamut. That's been my codec of choice since I discovered that. I mean, it's awesome. It gives me the colors that I want, gives me the flexibility that I want in post, and it's just a beautiful flat profile. So really been enjoying it, and I hope this is a subtle reminder to anybody watching or listening that you don't need the newest camera that just came out 5 seconds ago in order to create what you really enjoy and are proud of. I've been using this camera for a year. I know a lot of people have been waiting on this review for me to reveal the camera that I upgraded to. I really wanted to give it time for me to learn the camera and see if this is something that I was going to stick with as well. And of course, I'm going to stick with this bad boy till it dies on me, which I think will be in a very long time. So I'm really happy with the purchase. I'm happy with everything that I've created with it, and I can't wait to see what else I'm going to create with it. So thank you guys for watching. I know I don't do much on cameras on this channel, and I still probably won't, because I still feel like they're only a small percentage of the creating process, but I did want to at least share with the people who have been hounding me in the comments of that previous video what I ended up going with. So if this was helpful, I hope you take a minute to subscribe to the channel, like this video if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video.